Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello and welcome to the Healthy Living Podcast. I am Joe Grumbine, your host, and today we're going to be exploring episode 19 of the series titled Overcoming Cancer and Other Obstacles. And today we're going to talk about oxygen. And so, for those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma back in October of 2024, and I am detailing my journey to health from this diagnosis. And if you haven't listened, I would encourage you to go back to the first episode of this series because it'll tell you the whole story. Anyways, I'm journaling my journey to health, and my hope is to avoid any kind of chemo radiation and end up cancer-free. So today I'm going to talk about oxygen and going after this a lot of different ways. And I sometimes will do an episode and just kind of catch everybody up to speed with what's going on. This time I'm going to talk about a specific topic. So cancer, if you don't know, or if you do know, is made of cells, just the same kind of cells that you have, only they're mutated, they're broken, they have problems, and they don't operate the same way regular cells do. And most cells, healthy cells, operate in an oxygen-rich environment and need oxygen to work. And, the whole body runs on oxygen. We breathe it in, it's our fuel. It's the thing that makes everything work. The brain needs oxygen, your blood needs oxygen, all your organs need oxygen. Without it, you die quickly. So we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and oxygen is way up there. Well, cancer is kind of like an antimatter. It doesn't operate the same way that healthy cells do. And cancer, the way I understand it anyways, operates in an oxygen poor environment. It thrives in an oxygen poor environment. And when the oxygen begins to rise, it doesn't do so well. Well, guess which direction I want to go. So I'm working on a lot of different methodologies to improve my oxygen um, rating, the oxygen levels in my bloodstream, the oxygen levels um, in my organs, in my brain, everywhere. I want that oxygen in me. And so, there's things that you can do to improve. One of them is going to be breathing. And I haven't gotten deep into breath work, but I plan to. Like anybody who knows me realizes that this is a friggin' full-time job, just fighting cancer. So I'm either taking a supplement, doing a thing, not doing a thing. There's constantly something going on that is aiding my health and harming my cancer. And I'm going to keep doing this until it's gone, until I don't have it anymore. And I'm looking forward to that day and sooner than later because this takes up all my time. So breath work, I've done a little bit. The breath work that I've done primarily, they call it box breathing, where you take a deep breath in and you hold it for 4 seconds or 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever is your thing. And then you count. So you breathe in on a 4 count. So, and then you hold it for 4 seconds. And then you breathe out for 4 seconds. And then you hold it exhaled for 4 seconds or whatever your number is. So in doing that, you're being mindful of your breath. You're taking in good deep breaths. You're holding it, allowing for saturation, and that's supposed to be a way to improve the oxygen level in your blood. So that's a thing I do. I do that also in the sauna, and that's mostly where I do it. Sometimes I'll do it when I'm working on meditating and that sort of thing. Sometimes I'll do it as I'm going to sleep. It's kind of a little tool if I don't just drop right off. One of the downsides of all of this is, you get a lot of oxygen in you, then you get a bunch of energy, and then you think you want to go to sleep, and then there's that. So, um, a hyperbaric chamber is another oxygen tool. Now, I just read a thing today, and FDA specifically does not claim anything with a hyperbaric chamber. Basically, what it does is it puts you under pressure, and then you're breathing oxygen while you're doing it, and it's supposed to improve the saturation of your blood. I did it one time, and um, I think it was good. I don't know that I felt anything dramatic from it other than my ears kind of popped, and apparently that's a thing that can be a problem. So, anyways, I think I want to move forward more with the uh, hyperbaric chamber, but they're expensive, and I'm just kind of letting this thing roll as we're going. Drinking water, just drinking straight up water. You get oxygen with that, and of course, that's good for you on so many levels. Um, Anybody who knows me knows that I have been a subscriber to the bulletproof coffee notion for many years now, and I consider that to be a part of my formula for losing the weight that I've lost. And when you're doing that, you take butter and you put it in the coffee, then you whip it up, and supposedly the whipping action changes the molecule and creates a an oxygen molecule that's easier for the body to absorb. Again, I'm just telling you what I hear, and I'm telling you what I'm doing. And if I come to know something as a truth, I will share it as such. Meanwhile, I'm sharing my experience, which is what, this podcast is mostly about. It's different people sharing experiences. So, um, the next thing I want to talk about is ozone. Now, I've been talking about ozone therapy, uh, studying it, learning about it, exploring it for a few months now. And my goal, my hope is to access an EBU treatment, which basically takes blood out of you, runs it through a device that adds ozone to your blood, which is oxygen, it's O3, and also runs it through a infrared, or not, sorry, not infrared, ultraviolet spectrum of light, and it's supposed to kill pathogens. And then they put that same blood back into you, kind of like a dialysis machine. I'm looking forward to doing that, but it's expensive and I haven't figured it out how to access it yet. We're working on it, and hopefully sooner than later I'll be able to share that experience. But just recently, actually yesterday, I purchased a water ozone machine, and it is designed to um, infuse water with ozone. And so basically, it's a little box. It has like a little compressor on it that runs an air stone, like for a fish tank. And the way I understand it, they're using electricity to capture the O3 molecule and inject it into this water. So basically, just run this bubbler through it, and I'll run it for the maximum amount of time, and then I drink it. And I figure, with most of these therapies that I'm doing, the goal is the most benefit, the most potential benefit with the least amount of risk. So I know drinking water is going to be pretty unrisky, very low risk endeavor to drink water. So whether that ozone really transfers or not, I don't know. I think I feel better from doing it. And it's hard. I have pretty good energy most of the time. So um, I'm paying attention to my clarity, even though I'm taking oil and all of that. I'm paying attention to, my energy level and this sort of thing. So, um, we'll see. We'll see what that little ozone machine happens. It's one I could afford, and hopefully, um, we'll get access to this Ebu machine. And my cousin has a different machine, and it basically you put a little thing in your ear, and it basically blows ozone into your ear. And it works off of an oxygen machine or an oxygen bottle. So it's starting out with a richer, with oxygen. So I know that I think the machine I have will hook up to an oxygen bottle as well. And one of the things I want to do, I haven't done it yet, I've got it on my list, is I want to get an oxygen concentrator. And just again, can't hurt to breathe in more oxygen, and it can help. So I'm just looking at it going, I'm not suffering from it, but I think that having more oxygen would be better. So I'm working on getting an oxygen concentrator here. Probably by the end of this week, I'll get me one and begin that process as well. Now, the latest trick, and again, my cousin has been instrumental. And if you um, haven't heard her episodes, there's 4 episodes with my cousin Nicole Rafferty, and she's got a lot of really good experience that she shares with a lot of alternative health systems. And so she gave me this book called The 1 Minute Cure, and I listened to it, and it's about hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. So I've heard good things about hydrogen as well, but hydrogen peroxide is a known cleaner. It goes after bacteria, pathogens, and that sort of thing. And the way I understand it from this book, and I don't know any of this to be 100% true or not, but different types of bacteria react differently. And apparently, the bacteria that are good for you thrive in an oxygen-rich environment, and the bacteria that are poor for you are attacked by an oxygen-rich environment. That's why when you uh, pour peroxide on a wound that's got bacteria, it'll start bubbling away and start attacking it. Well, apparently the same thing will happen inside. So I'm working on a couple of different delivery systems, and one of them, I have a CPAP machine, and it's basically like a nebulizer, and it's for my sleep apnea that is not nearly bad as it was, but it's still there. At least it was a couple years ago when I was last tested. And so at night, I put this little rubber mask over my nose, and it gently blows a little bit of air with a humidifier, and it just keeps that air flowing so that when you have sleep apnea, you basically stop breathing. And so that's very, very hazardous, and you can be very oxygen deprived. And who knows, maybe that's an instigator, one of the reasons that this cancer came about. I don't know the answer, but it's entirely possible that that might have had something to do with it. And so there's 2 ways to do this. One, I put a 3% solution into the little chamber and run it for about 10 minutes. And I did that last night for the first time. And the second way is I just took a small amount and I put it in the regular water, and basically it just increased the oxygen production for the night, but was in such a low concentration. I don't believe that it would have any kind of caustic effect or anything like that. I'm hoping not, anyways, because I'm breathing it. And then you can also take that and put it in water. So what I did this morning for the first time before I went on my hike in the morning, they're supposed to do it on an empty stomach. And so first thing in the morning, I got the coffee rolling and I took I don't know, about maybe 10 mils of 12% hydrogen peroxide and food grade. So it doesn't have any additives or stabilizers or things that can cause you problems. And I put that into a glass of filtered water, 6 to 8 ounces, probably about 6 ounces of water. And I drank it down on an empty stomach. And that is supposed to get that into your system in the cleanest, purest way. The peroxide doesn't react with a bunch of food in your belly because you don't have a bunch of food in your belly. And I don't know, I got a teeny, maybe a little bit nauseous from it, and it had kind of a bleachy taste in my mouth. However, my hike was good, and I think that I got good benefit from it. Then the final way I'm going to use it with the peroxide is when I go into the sauna, I'm going to put that 3% solution onto the hot rocks and make steam out of it. And I'll just breathe it in. So um, that's that's the big deal that I just launched. The latest thing. And then finally, I have a Rife setting, and we'll be talking in depth about the Rife machine and the different frequency, electronic and magnetic type of medicines. And so I have an amp coil machine, which works on magnets and electric frequency. And there is a setting there that is to improve oxygenation. And the Rife machine also has a uh, setting to improve oxygenation. So all of those things I'm doing, including exercise and, just eating good, clean food. And everybody I see in the last couple of months says I'm looking great. I think I look good in the sense of, aside from this giant lump sticking out of my neck, I think my color, my skin's pretty good. My energy level's good. My eyes are clear, except for all the oil I'm taking. So, anyways, oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. I believe it's got a good, it's going to have a good effect. I believe it's going to help me shrink this lump down and ultimately kill it. And frankly, I'm a big fan. So, oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. All right, folks, we're going to keep on rolling. I can't wait to share with you the days that I can say I'm cancer free. So, let's walk on this journey to health together and man, let's live our best life. All right, we'll talk soon. Thank you.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right, well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.